Bonsai Bloke here, how you going? Well, today we got a baby little tree to work on, me little olive. Sort of a beginner tree, I suppose you could say. Good sized tree for beginners or older people that can't lift too much. I've, done videos on this, or one video at least on this one before. It's just a baby little olive that I got from Mitre 10. Done some work on it, or did some work on it, and didn't like it. Kept cutting it back, and then one year she finally started looking good, and I was quite impressed with it. Last year there was a little bit of dieback over winter, so quite a few little branches are dead. So I'll sort those out. I've sort of shot from the base. Not sure what happened there, might have dried out or maybe got shaded in certain areas, I'm not sure. But certainly got a bit of dieback. I'll kick that branch. So what I'm going to do, I've already weeded it, only took 5 seconds, it was actually pretty good, I must have done it recently. It's basically, I'm just going to cut back, let's start cutting. To very small. These ones probably only 1 inch now because it's a baby tree and I'm going to try and keep it small. I don't want it to get much bigger than it already is. So I'm going to try to cut most stuff back to only 1 internode at any junction. Any junction's only going to have 1 to 2 internodes, that's it, no more. So it's got a very small extension to hopefully help increase the ramification or the branch division, that's another word for it. Now this tree used to have baby leaves, but this year I don't know whether it's all the fertiliser I've put down this year or what, but this thing's got quite big leaves, getting quite big leaves this year. Almost the size of an English elm. Quite crazy for a Chinese elm to have leaves quite so big, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. I'll cut it back to the smaller inner branches anyway, and then hopefully the new branching that we get out of where I trim it back to, the second flush for the year, will be hopefully a bit smaller. But who knows? We don't know, do we? We never know how a tree's going to react to what we do, but we just do it anyway and just see what happens. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the finished product. Trimming away here. I'm off windsurfing again tomorrow, so I've got the car packed ready to go. If I had a GoPro, I'd do a bit of footage from the water. I think I do have some old footage. I borrowed someone's camera once, so maybe I'll try to find that, but hell, it's a long while ago and it might be hard to find. Me windsurfing. I think I do have some recent, I have a recent clip, but it's very small. Maybe I'll chuck that up. Anyway, so we're just cutting back pretty hard into the finer small growth, very small extensions. We don't want this thing to get big and out of control because I want to keep it small forever and try and keep it in a small pot. Because one day I'll get old and I'll appreciate having a little tree like this rather than all my big ones. All my big ones have become too much and I'll have to hopefully hand them over to the young apprentice, but if not, probably have to sell them. But that's not for a lot of years yet, unless I have an injury, but I should start developing some of these small trees now. It's also a really good size for a beginner because, not a lot of effort's gone into this tree. I just cut it back here and there. I've Initially bent the trunk, got it from Mitre 10, I think. There's a really small little whippy trunk, single trunk, there was no branching. I bent it around the place, didn't like how I bent it, cut it back really hard down to here. Then I just kept cutting it back because every year I didn't like it, so I cut it back a bit more, and finally here it is. Actually a lot of years old. This thing was one of my very first purchases, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 11 or 12 years. Certainly nearly 11 as a bonsai, or you know, as me mucking around on it. 11 years, and possibly even a 12-year-old actual tree from when it was first grown as a cutting. It wouldn't surprise me if it was nearly 13 actually. So a lot of years, but not a lot of work, you know. Like this is, I'll probably do same amount of time that I've been on it now. Is about the same amount of time that I'll probably spend on it again, maybe once more for the summer. And that's it for the year with it, you know. All pretty simple. Just getting rid of some of these bigger leaves. Makes it look a bit out of proportion, so I just want it to look good. This one's already got good moss. I'm going to have to go moss collecting soon. I've ran out of moss because of summer. It's hard to find. Winter it's easy, it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, more moss, but summer it's hard to find. But I'm going to try and find some. Just get rid of there's a bit of a knob here where it's got 4 branches, so I'm going to cut that knob off along with a couple of the branches. Okay. Nearly done. Not too much more dead stuff in there, got rid of most of it. So the main bit of dead that probably the most unhappy about is these 2 branches back here, which gave it some depth. Front of the tree is going to be there, and those 2 branches that died did give it some depth, and they're dead. Not sure why. Maybe I shaded it underneath another tree during last year's hot summer without shade. I might have thought it would be better off under the shade of another tree, and maybe this side of the tree didn't get any sunlight at all. That's possible, and if that's the case, well, at least it saved the tree, and the tree didn't die anyway. And we'll just have to regrow. So there is a branch shot back there, so I'm going to let that one get big, and that'll become a back branch. So if you ever need to get a new branch somewhere and it's down low where you want it to be a bit fatter, just let a little shoot like this come out, and then I'm going to put that towards the sun, and I'm going to allow it to get, you know, 1 metre long, 2 metres long, at least 1 metre, and then it'll be fat enough and I can cut it back and then start some more branch division. So that's how you get a fatter branch out of something that's thinner to start with and a lot thinner than all the other branches. If you want to fatten it up, let it grow long. And like I've said in past videos, one of the reasons why a long branch works over shorter branches is the fact that when it gets longer, the wind blows it around, creates little micro tears in the back of the branch, which makes it callus over to get stronger, and he'll, you know, obviously when it heals, and the more it heals, the fatter it gets. So that is the general reason why a longer branch does better than trying to put many branches on a short branch. You're better off just growing a really long one, and it fattens up. Once tree this size, 1 season will be enough. I'll be able to cut it off at the end of the season. So you can see how much I cut off that tree. Fair bit. Really healthy, super healthy. Crazy. Okay, so I don't know. I think we're nearly done. I'll get the light out in a minute. We'll have a final spin of the tree. Just clean this place up a bit. Give you guys a bit of a spin like that. Okay, I'll give you a bit of a close-up spring. Not sure spring is a word, but anyway, we'll try it. And yeah, chuck some music up, and that's about it. No worries. Cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your mates about the channel, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers. She was a shorty this video, but she's a beauty treat. No worries. Bloody beauty.